series of errors by hospital staff in Kent led to the death of a grandmother from Gillingham. That's the outcome of an investigation by the Healthcare Commission. Valerie Frost was sent home by a junior doctor from Medway Maritime Hospital who had no knowledge of her case. A week later, she died from blood poisoning. Our report comes from Bryony Mansfield.
They met as teenagers and barely spent a day apart in 49 years. That was until Valerie Frost was admitted to the Medway Maritime Hospital in June last year with a suspected urinary infection. Having spent 5 days in hospital, shivering and still feeling unwell, she was sent home only to die a week later. For her husband, it's unbearable.
It'll never be resolved for me, will it? Because mistakes were made and they shouldn't have been. I mean, I don't know. I mean, perhaps if I had done to Valerie what the hospital did to her, I'd probably be in prison now, wouldn't I, for manslaughter or something?
The Healthcare Commission investigation into Mrs Frost's death found that she shouldn't have been discharged from hospital by an on-call house officer who didn't know her. It said her chances of survival would have been greatly increased if she had not been sent home, and that the Trust had failed in their duty of care for her.
This is a tragic case, and one which the Trust accepts. It has a lot of lessons to learn. It revolves around the Healthcare Commission identified an inappropriate discharge at the weekend, and had not the patient been discharged, there may have been a different outcome. That, of course, we will never know.
There has to be a new procedure put in place, and therefore that quite clearly shows there's been a lack of procedure, and that would mean that other people in Medway have suffered the same actually. And I would ask people to come forward, because at the end of the day we need to know the scale of this incident and to put it right.
Frank and their daughter Sally now look after his mother-in-law, who's 88. He said he never expected that he'd be living his life without his wife.
Bryony Mansfield with that report, and she joins us now live from outside the hospital in Gillingham. Bryony, an extremely unusual case, this one.
Well, Jeff, the hospital says it is rare. They have 650 beds and see over 1 million patients a year. What the hospital is also saying this evening is that they'll be reviewing their procedures, and that the doctor who sent Mrs Frost away back to home will also be apologising in person. But Mr Frost says he doesn't want an apology, he's not interested. What he wants is to honour his wife's memory and make sure something like this never happens again. Jeff.
Bryony, many thanks.